On October 4, 1997, the largest cash heist in American history walked out the front door, and the thieves were so careless, the FBI didn't need to be clever. 3:55 in the morning. The Loomis Fargo depot in Charlotte, North Carolina sits under fluorescent lights, humming with the routine of a Tuesday night shift. David Ghantt, a vault supervisor with thinning patience and a thinner paycheck, wheels a cart stacked with cash toward the loading dock. $17,348,000. He's counted it twice. Nobody stops him, nobody's watching. But I need to rewind. David Ghantt wasn't a criminal mastermind. He was a 30-year-old divorcee with modest ambitions, pulling in about $360 a week, watching armored cars deliver and remove fortunes while he stayed poor. In 1996, he met Kelly Campbell at a local restaurant where she waitressed. She was charming, attentive, and connected to something he didn't yet understand. Campbell worked part-time at Loomis. She knew the schedule, the procedures, the vulnerabilities. She also knew someone else, a small-time crook named Steve Chambers. What started as casual conversation became something more calculated. They began to talk about the money that moved through that vault, not as fantasy, as possibility. The plan was straightforward, almost embarrassingly so. Ghantt would stay late one night, lock himself in the vault with the cash, and wait. Campbell and Chambers would pick him up after his shift. No alarms triggered, no guards overcome. Just someone who belonged there, moving money that wasn't locked away properly yet. October 4th, 1997. Ghantt loaded the cash into duffel bags in a blue 1970s pickup truck. He drove to a prearranged meeting point in nearby Gastonia. Campbell and Chambers took the truck. Ghantt was handed a cellular phone, a bulky Motorola, and driven to a hotel. His instructions were simple: stay quiet for 3 days, then disappear. By morning, Loomis discovered the theft. $17 million gone. The FBI arrived within hours, and here's where the operation began to collapse, not because of brilliant detective work, but because the people involved had no idea how to act like criminals. Steve Chambers bought a new house in an upscale neighborhood. Cash down, he bought a Rolex. He leased a Jaguar. Within weeks, he'd become conspicuously, absurdly wealthy in a town where nobody had been rich yesterday. His wife, Michelle, wore expensive jewelry to the grocery store. They hired contractors and paid cash for everything. I've read the arrest reports myself. The FBI didn't need wiretaps or surveillance. Neighbors called, contractors called. A man who'd been invisible suddenly glowed. Chambers had buried some of the cash in his backyard, literally buried it in plastic barrels like a pirate from a children's story. Kelly Campbell was arrested in November. Chambers followed in December. The FBI recovered about $4 million, but Ghantt, he was gone. He'd been hidden in a hotel in Mexico, living on a small stipend, waiting for heat to die down before joining the others. That's where the story takes its strangest turn. Chambers, desperate and paranoid, hired a man to kill Ghantt. He wanted to eliminate his partner and keep all the remaining money. The would-be assassin was paid $5,000 and drove to Mexico to find him. He never found Ghantt. But Ghantt learned about the hit. He panicked and called the FBI. In March 1998, he surrendered in Mexico City. He was extradited, tried, and convicted of bank larceny. He served 5 years. Chambers served 11. Campbell served 5.5. What makes this heist historically significant isn't the money taken, it's how quickly human nature betrayed the plan. No criminal sophistication existed here. No encrypted communications or dead drops or tradecraft. Just greed, impatience, and the inability to resist showing off. The FBI recovered about $5.5 million total. The rest, roughly $12 million, was never found. Some believe it's still buried somewhere in North Carolina. Others think it was spent so carelessly that the actual total lost to the thieves was far less than the headlines suggested. David Ghantt was released in 2002. He rebuilt quietly. He wrote a book about the heist. He became something the other conspirators never managed, anonymous again. That perhaps is the real victory of a criminal, not the score, but the ability to disappear after it. The Loomis Fargo job teaches a lesson that echoes through every major theft since. The perfect crime isn't the one nobody solves, it's the one nobody notices. The moment Chambers bought that house, the moment Campbell wore that jewelry, the moment they forgot that staying invisible is the hardest part, that's when they'd already lost. It remains the largest cash robbery in U.S. history, but it's remembered not for its audacity. It's remembered for proving that most criminals aren't masterminds at all. They're just people with access and opportunity who forgot the one rule that matters. Don't celebrate until you're sure nobody's watching. Subscribe. Every week we uncover how history's boldest criminals unraveled under the weight of their own success.